How to overcome laziness and become disciplined. A motivational story about taking back control of your life. There's a quote that says, "Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most." And if we're honest, most of us have lost that battle more times than we'd like to admit. We've all had those mornings when the alarm rings, and instead of getting up, we hit the snooze button. We've all said, "I'll start tomorrow." But somehow tomorrow keeps moving further away. Laziness isn't always about being weak or unmotivated. It's often about fear, comfort, and the stories we tell ourselves. It asks about the small excuses that slowly build a wall between who we are and who we could become. But here's the good news. Laziness isn't permanent. Discipline can be learned, built, and strengthened like a muscle. Let me tell you a story about someone who learned this the hard way. The turning point. Michael was a dreamer. He talked about writing a book, getting fit, starting his own business. But year after year, nothing changed. He'd scroll through social media, watching others chase their dreams while he stayed stuck in his comfort zone. Every night he told himself, "Tomorrow I'll start." But when tomorrow came, he'd find another excuse. "I'm tired. I need to be in the right mood. I'll do it after lunch." One day, something shifted. He was sitting on his couch, halfway through another Netflix binge, when he came across a quote online. "You'll never feel ready. Start anyway." Something about those words hit him. He realized he had spent years waiting for motivation to strike like lightning, without understanding that motivation only comes after action, not before it. That night, instead of promising to start tomorrow, he made a different choice. He stood up, turned off the TV, and wrote a single paragraph of his book. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Step 1. Stop waiting for motivation. Most people believe they need motivation to take action, but that's backward. Action creates motivation. The more you move, the more energy you generate. Think of it like pushing a car that's stuck. It's hard at first, but once it starts rolling, momentum makes it easier. Discipline works the same way. The hardest part is always the beginning, the first step out of bed, the first workout, the first few words on a blank page. The secret is to act first, feel later. Don't wait to feel ready. Do it anyway. Read that one page, go for that short run, clean that one corner of your room. Once you start, your brain catches up. Step 2. Build small, consistent habits. When Michael began his journey, he didn't overhaul his entire life overnight. He didn't set unrealistic goals like writing 10 pages a day or working out for 2 hours. He started with 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes of writing, 10 push-ups, 10 minutes of learning something new. It sounds small, but here's the truth. Consistency beats intensity every time. Anyone can work hard for a day. Few can work steadily for months. And that's what discipline really is. Doing what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it. Over time, those 10 minutes grew into 20, then 30. Small habits compound like interest. You may not notice progress day by day, but one morning you'll wake up and realize you've become someone different, someone stronger, someone reliable. Step 3. Change your environment. We often underestimate how much our surroundings shape our behavior. You can't expect to become disciplined if your environment constantly tempts you back into laziness. Michael noticed that when his phone was next to him, he'd scroll endlessly. So, he started leaving it in another room while he worked. He turned his workspace into a small focus zone. Clean desk, good lighting, no distractions. Discipline isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's about designing your environment so that success becomes the easier choice. Put your workout clothes where you can see them. Keep healthy food in sight. Turn off notifications. Make laziness harder to reach. Step 4. Learn to forgive yourself, but don't quit. Everyone slips. Even the most disciplined people have lazy days. The difference is, they don't let one bad day become a bad week. When you mess up, miss a workout, waste time, procrastinate, don't drown in guilt. Just reset. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about returning to your path faster each time you fall off. Michael still had lazy days, but he learned to say, "Okay, I slipped. Let's get back to it. That simple mindset shift kept him from spiraling into self-blame. Step 5. Remember your why. Laziness often wins when we forget why we started. Discipline fades when life feels meaningless. Michael wrote his why on a sticky note. I want to prove to myself that I can finish something I started. Every time he felt tired, he looked at that note. It reminded him that discipline wasn't punishment, it was freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from the weight of unfulfilled potential. Your why doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be real. Maybe it's your family, your dreams, or your future self. Keep that reason close, because when times get hard, and they will, it's what will carry you through. The transformation. 6 months later, Michael finished the first draft of his book. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. He had turned from someone who always talked about his dreams into someone who lived them. His secret? It wasn't motivation. It wasn't talent. It was discipline, quiet, consistent, daily effort. He once believed that discipline made life harder. Now he realized it made life simpler. He no longer had to fight himself every day because action had become his habit. Final thought. If you want to overcome laziness, stop searching for motivation and start creating movement. Start small, stay consistent, forgive your setbacks, protect your environment, and never forget your why. Discipline isn't a prison, it's the path to freedom. Freedom from procrastination, from self-doubt, from regret. Because in the end, it is not the big moments that define your life, it is the small choices you make every single day. And if you choose action over excuses, consistency over comfort, and purpose over laziness, you'll become unstoppable.